Hey guys, so one of the things I wanted to do today is kind of begin a series of short tutorials on your first few steps in the game. Now this isn't really geared toward anyone that is more of a veteran of the game or that understands basically what they're supposed to do, but instead people that they found the link, they clicked on to play, they set up their account, they log in, they see all this text, and now they really don't know, where to go or what to do or how they're supposed to advance in any way. So that's kind of what this is for. Um, so, the game itself, Dragon Realms, I like it because it is as complex or as simplistic as really you want to make it. I mean, at its core, it can be as simple as kill bad guys, take their stuff, loot their money and buy better stuff. But there's so much more to it. There's classes that excel at healing other people. There's classes that excel at, trading and opening stores, and I mean, there's so many skills that you can utilize, between just all the different weapons and being able to use athletic skills like climbing and swimming and all that. There's just a lot you can do. So it really depends on how much you want to multitask and how much you really want to accomplish with your character. But so, if you're in for the first time and you're kind of wondering what to do, one of the first things I suggest that you do is probably turn on your numlock key so that you can go back and forth using the number pad instead of having to type east and west. The other thing that you really need to learn how to do is to use the dir keys, dir, and what this is, it will give you the potential to list different places that you can go to. So if you want to figure out how to join the Paladin Guild or something like that, you can go to dir list guilds. It'll show all the different guilds here. And if you want to know how to go to the Paladin Guild, you can type in dir paladin, and then I like to just type in like a large amount of characters here so that it shows the whole way there instead. Because if you just type dir paladin, it'll just show you the very first direction you get there. So we can go ahead and head there real quick. And when we get there, I'll go over a few other things that you should probably just look into to kind of make the game work a little bit better for you. So, now I've arrived at the Paladin Guild. There's the Paladin Guild leader, and, you could, ask about joining or whatever have you. I'm not going to do that because I'm already an empath. But so one of the things I want to mention is that it's going to be very important for you to know where you're going in the game. And you can see here I'm in the Crossing, which is one of the two starting cities that you can start in. And I recommend it just because, for a brand new player, I recommend it just because there's a lot more people around and everything's very close. So there's a lot of people that can answer your questions or maybe help you out in the beginning. But one of the things that you're definitely going to want to do is check out this webpage here. This is Alanthropedia.org, and you don't need all this other stuff at the end. You could just type this in and go to it, and it'll automatically pop up here. And this is basically like a giant encyclopedia of everything about the game. And it's going to be just unendingly useful for you, especially if you do things like click on the maps. And having these maps in any way, shape, or form, whether you have them on another monitor or you print them out and use them by hand that way, are just really going to help you kind of like understanding the layout. Now I know for for someone looking at this for the first time, it's like, holy geez, look at all these look at all these squares with names next to them. But it's just like anything else. It's like understanding any kind of map. As you play the game a little bit and you kind of like learn to read this, things will actually kind of come together. And eventually you probably won't even use the map anymore. You'll probably just know the city so well and the area so well that you'll just be doing whatever you do really without its aid. Maybe it's just like a little guide if you print it out just to kind of glance at every once in a while. So once you start and you've chosen your guild, one of the things that you should do first is get equipped. And getting equipped isn't like super difficult. You do start out with a small amount of money on loan, and you start out with like a terrible piece of armor and a weapon. But just like I said before, it's kind of as complex or simple as you want to make it. If you just want to use one weapon, you can, but most people will suggest that you use more than one weapon, especially since different creatures are more resistant to certain weapons and whatnot. Most people recommend a ranged and a melee type for your use, maybe like a crossbow and then like a sword of some sort. You're always going to want a shield and some armor. So when you're trying to find out where to get armor and swords, if you don't want to spend that very first beginning money, the thing I like to do is check out your donation shelves, because that's kind of what they're there for. They're there for new guys to maybe get some beginning stuff off of. So you'll notice here at Alanthropedia, I actually already have a window up for the donation racks. So you can just go down here to search if you needed to, and you can type in, donation racks or rack. I think they both go to the same place, right? And you can see that in Zalaran, which is where the crossing is located, there's several places that you can go to that have these donation racks, and you can kind of go there and see if you can pick something up. Now, several of these are restricted to your class. Like I'm an empath, so there's one here that only I can take stuff off of. But like this paladin one here is something that might be pretty useful to you. The armory and then the chambers of the Paladin Guild both have no restrictions, so we can actually go there right now and maybe check to see if there's, I'm not going to take anything, but we'll see if there's anything there. So usually stuff is on like racks, like you'll see here there's a weapons rack, so we can look on rack and we can see if there's actually some stuff here. There's there's an axe and a spear and some gloves and a kris, and I think there's one more place in here in the chambers area, which it does mention right here. So in the chambers area we can actually see that there is more racks, I do believe. So we'll look on the rack here as well. And not too much here, it just looks like there's a chain and some stones and stuff like that. So if I went over to the Empath Guild, so Dur Empath 20, we'll head on down there. And you'll see there is the stop to get rid of that again. You'll see there's the donation shelf for us. So look on here. Now see, there's tons of stuff on here that a person could utilize if you're an empath. There's some lock picks and there's some leathers here, and there's all kinds of stuff here. There's what else is here? More spears. Some dagger, there's some origami stuff. Not a lot of this stuff is like super useful for you in the beginning, but anything that's related to like maybe the shield or maybe some armor, like some of these leathers or something like that might be okay for you. These gauntlets might be fine. And if you ever want to see, what something is, what type of armor it is, or what it protects or something like that, you can always appraise it. So you can type in app and then like this coat here, like is this armor or is this just a coat that you wear? Well, app coat. And you can see here it's actually light armor. So this is actually an armor that covers your right arm, your left arm, your chest, your abdomen, and your back. So that's pretty neat. And then if you want to see like what type of weapon something is, like this short sword here, you can app short sword and it'll tell you that it's a light-edged melee weapon. So you can utilize this to get you started, get some items, get some armor, make sure all your body parts are covered. There's head, eyes, neck, your chest, your abdomen, your back, your arms, and your legs. And if you have to, and you have to maybe utilize the stores to get you totally fixed up, we can do the DIR, and let's do weapon 20 for the weapons shop. So we can head over there, and we can head here to the weapons shop. And usually there's a catalog or something like that. You can see there's a table here with some stuff on it. It looks like someone was stealing these short swords and leaving them there. So you can actually grab one. Look at that, and if you wanted a free short sword, I guess. But there's also this catalog, so you can read catalog. And there's pages, so you could read page, I don't know, 1 for edged weapons. And if you wanted to, you could say, like if I want to get a dagger, I could buy dagger. I don't think I have any money on me right now. But, okay, so he'll sell it to you for 200. So, you would offer, well, I guess we'll find out if I have any money on me. I'll donate 200 to the cause. So I would offer 200, and I realize in horror that I don't have any money, and he kicks me out. So if I did have 200, though, obviously I would give him the money, I would get the dagger, and then you'd be good to go. So, like I said, this is just a real short tutorial about getting some armor and weapons, and we'll work on next time actually getting somewhere and engaging in some combat. See you guys then.